Child labor bulletin again in August of 1914. I've had another accident. Big tear in my pretty new dress. This time I went to mend it. When we went to Atlanta, Georgia a few weeks ago and saw the beautiful white cotton fields, Mother told me how little boys and girls must help make most of the stuff used for our dresses. I used to think all the children I had good times and that going to school was very hard. Now I know better. I appreciate my dresses more since I know that from the very beginning, when the cotton is ripe in the hot sun, little boys and girls must pick it for my dresses while their backs grow tired and their heads ache. If you're ever out in the sun a long time, your head starts to hurt. Mother also took me into a cotton mill on that trip. I saw how the cotton bolls are brought into the mill and the fluffy, soft white mass is combed and then spun from one bobbin to another, until it is finest thread like the ravelings from the tear in my new dress. The bobbins roll around on large frames in the spinning room.
Whoever wrote this was not the best speller or grammar person in the world.
Yeah. Little girls called spinners walk up and down the long aisles between the frames, watching the bobbins closely. When a thread breaks, the spinner must quickly tie the two ends together. Some people think that only children can do this quickly enough, but that is not so. For in a great many mills, only grown-ups work. So if a thread broke, I thought a little girl could, with her fingers, could tie the knot real quick and get it going again. Mary to the left there is one of the spinners. She was very sad. Sitting all day long, she said, had broken down the arch of her foot and made her flat-footed, which is very painful. I don't know if she could afford shoes or why did she have shoes on. Okay, some people say it is good for the girls and boys to work, that all children should be industrious, but they do not stop to think that there is a right and wrong kind of work for little girls and boys. Spinning for a little while a day could be made the right kind, but work in a spinning room from 7 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night is the wrong kind. It keeps the children out of school, it gives them no chance to play, and they cannot grow strong. Many spinning rooms have their windows closed all day because the rooms must be kept damp or the threads will break. Now, like growing plants, growing girls and boys need fresh air as well as light and sunshine. But there are more than 1 million children in this country who do not have fresh air or play or school because they're working. And of these, there are enough in the cotton mills to make a big city full. When a bobbin is filled, the gopher boy comes along, takes off the spinning frame, and puts an empty bobbin in its place. So that's his job. Many gopher boys and girls, spinners, grow up without learning to read or write and without even hearing of George Washington. Sometimes the machine is so high and the boys are so little they have to climb up to reach the bobbins. If they slip, they can hurt themselves badly. We'll see a picture of that right there in that page. So that boy right there is climbing up and he's like on a thing that's supposed to catch the bobbins. He's standing on it, barefoot. At last, the thread is ready to be woven into cloth. It is put through a machine called the warper, which prepares the threads which run the length of the goods. I think the hardest work the girls in the mill did was to thread every one of these warp threads through a tiny hole to prepare them for the loom that weaves the cloth. Surely, Mother, I said when we left the cotton mill, little girls can't do any more work for a dress. Ah, yes, dear, she said. It is in the making of the dress itself that little girls take a big part. The cloth you saw woven is sent to factories in other large cities. It is cut into dresses that are carried into bundles into tenement homes, and such homes. Often, only one of the 2 rooms for the whole family to cook and eat and sleep and sew in. Mother sew the dresses, while the little girls help draw out the basting threads and sew on the buttons. So here's a story about Rose. Not long ago, I read the story about Rose. This is like Lewis Hine. 9 years old, who sews buttons on the little girl's dresses. Her mother used to make the doll dress, and Rose had to snip them apart. She grew so tired of doing this for dolls for other little girls to play with, when she had no doll herself, and when she wanted to read fairy stories, that what do you think she did? She snipped into the doll's dresses with scissors. So now her mother makes big dresses for little girls, and Rose cannot use the scissors but must work with a needle. She sews on 36 buttons to earn 4 cents. That's a lot of money.
You can also buy a piece of gum.
The pretty ribbon trimmings are pulled through the dresses by children in still other tenement homes. You see, their mothers do not mean to be cruel, but they must pay rent and buy coal and bread and shoes with the money the children can earn. Crueler than these poor mothers were the people who, when the fathers were little boys, made them do work that taught them nothing. For now the fathers do not know how to earn enough money, and they are idle while the children work. If only everybody cared and would not buy things that children make, the factory men would give the work to the fathers and not to the children. So these little boys, when they grow up, will be worthless because they're no longer needed, and their kids will work in the factories. So they just sit at home. What a process that is. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Take it back.
I will take it back. All right, you guys look back up.